Isn't foreign military financing cut off by the shutdown?
I do have a little bit on that, too, I can tell you about. One moment. So I mentioned, of course, the status of our programs, but there are some broader financing programs, to your point, Josh, that could be impacted because in the absence of a CR, we have no FY 2014 foreign military financing, IMET programs, and peacekeeping operations funds to obligate. So hence the challenge. So the processing, and as well as the processing of foreign military sales, which will continue, but the pace may be slowed over time because of furloughs in the military service. So those are, of course, some of the impacts broadly on where we stand with our budgetary challenges in Congress.
For the Egypt FMF, that was still 2013 money.
That is exactly right, but we don't have a 2014 CR at this point. So.
The Egypt money that's on hold, just one second. Yeah. The Egypt money that's on hold, that's still under review. That could still be released even during the shutdown.
The
review is ongoing, right?
The review is ongoing.
But right now it's not
of course,
flowing.
the end of the fiscal year was yesterday, so we did recently obligate the remaining FY 2013, which would expire on September 13th, unless obligated. However, it is still the president still has flexibility here. We still have the ability to control kind of how this is used. So
can you explain that? So you gave them the $585 million.
We don't. It doesn't go to the Egyptian government. It was obligated because yesterday was the end of the fiscal year. But this fund.
It's more than a week ago.
I got this, guys. I got this.
More than a week
So
ago.
Let me just finish, Josh.
Yeah.
The type of obligation does not result in funds being put under contract. So this is funds. This is funds that it doesn't mean we still maintain control over how FMF and other assistance will be spent. It's just that we had to obligate the money because of the end of the fiscal year yesterday.
So you're obligating it to whom?
Well, it goes to, let's see, I believe I actually have something on this. Sure, go ahead.
Can I hear the answer to my question before you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Thank
a
you.
related thing, so if you don't mind, I'm going to say it.
We'll continue.
Unless
We'll
you-
continue here.
So
Go ahead, Arshad.
The way-
We're
the way-
not finishing, Josh. Go ahead.
the way that it was explained to me was the need to obligate it had no effect on what you might ultimately do with the money because those decisions had not yet been made, and that, in fact, you needed to obligate the money in part so that if you wanted to terminate assistance, you would have money available to pay for the termination
For the
costs.
wind-up, that's exactly right.
Okay.
But no decision has been made about that. It still is under review. It typically goes to a federal account, but it's not there yet. And it either way, we still would approve purchases.
The federal account being the Egyptian government's bank account in New York.
Well, it's an account that we control and we approve purchases for.
I see.
New York Federal Reserve?
My understanding is it's not there yet.
Right.
But it's going to get there.
That would be the next step, but it's not there yet.
And how much was it?
It was $584.
584. Mm-hmm. And that's the remaining amount from the federal, from FY 2013.
Right, and as we've talked about before in the last couple of months, broadly speaking, if a decision were to be made about funding that would impact it, there would be wind up spending that would need to be used because of programs or obligations being part of the way through.
So the remainder of what must have been around $500 million or $600 million was spent, or?
Well, that was money. You mean because
the total sum is about 1.1 billion.
It's a little higher than that, but that was previously obligated before. This was the chunk that was left over. In terms of how much of that has been actually spent, I'd have to check on that. Some of that is harder to track, but sure.